You're watching KSPF Channel 1. One team leads this series 20 games to 8. Another team has had 9 head coaches since their last win in this series. We're talking about Alabama and Arkansas. The 2020 series of this game sees returning head coach Nick Saban facing off against first-year head coach Sam Pittman. Dating back to 2008, Alabama is on a 12-game win streak. This would be 13, except Alabama had to vacate all its wins in 2007. So that means in 2006, when Arkansas last beat Alabama, Arkansas had an 8-7 lead in the series. Now, we're all pretty familiar with Nick Saban and his 6 national championships, couple of Heisman winners, and his sensational record at Alabama. But I'm willing to bet that no one has really heard of or thought about Sam Pittman, the head coach of Arkansas. But let's talk about Sam Pittman for a minute. Pittman, in his first year, has wins over Tennessee and Ole Miss, and on the road at number 16, Mississippi State. As far as the overall view of the season goes, almost wins don't mean a whole lot. But if you're Arkansas, I think that you should consider these victories, at least from a moral standpoint, because you traveled to Auburn, who was ranked number 13 at the time, and lost by 2. Then LSU comes to town. You lose by 3. And then you travel to Missouri and lose by 2. Again, I know that's 3 losses on the season, but that's nothing to shy away from as far as a moral victory is concerned. Since being the head coach of Alabama, Nick Saban has never lost to the University of Arkansas. As a matter of fact, the last 2 meetings between these 2 teams hasn't exactly been close. In 2019, in Tuscaloosa, the Crimson Tide beat the Razorbacks by a final score of 48-7. The last time these 2 teams met in Arkansas, though, was a final score of 65-31. Now, statistically speaking, Arkansas this season is scoring about 28 points per game, while allowing about 33 points per game. So then you have Alabama. Alabama is scoring just over 49 points per game this year, while allowing just over 18 points per game this season. Mac Jones is 193 on 255 passes for 3,113 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He'll be joined on the field by Najee Harris, who has 169 rushing attempts for 1,038 yards and 20 touchdowns. Their trio is going to be completed by Devontae Smith, who has 80 receptions for 1,305 yards on top of 15 touchdowns. For the University of Arkansas, you're going to want to watch quarterback Felipe Franks. This season, Franks is 155 of 228 attempts, on top of 2,017 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Also keep an eye on Traylon Smith, who has 115 carries for 641 yards and 5 touchdowns. And rounding out the Arkansas trio at wide receiver is Treylon Burks, with 49 receptions for 804 yards and 7 touchdowns. With that being said, I think I'm ready to go ahead and pick a final score for this game. I don't see an upset here. I think Alabama is going to win, and I think they'll win pretty handily. I think the final score for this game is going to be 45-17, favoring Alabama. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the final score is going to be? Do you think that Arkansas can pull off the upset? Or do you think that Alabama is just going to run away with this one? I'd like to hear what you have to say. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe to this video if you'd like to see more content. And go Pokes!